Welcome back. The U.S. Surgeon General is warning widespread loneliness in the U.S. poses health risks, as deadly as smoking up to 15 cigarettes daily. The 81-page report shows that loneliness is hitting young people especially hard, especially right after the pandemic caused schools to close and to move online. This afternoon, our pediatrician, Dr. Theresa Horton, is with us to discuss some of the ways that parents can help children get connected. And thank you, of course, for coming in today. We always appreciate it. So let's start, because this is eye-opening. We were just talking about it in the break and how just shocking that this study is. And so talk about how loneliness is harming children.
So it really is quite impressive and a little mind-boggling. So we are social people. We are geared by genetics to need to be together. If we still lived in a hunter-gatherer society, you need those extra people to help watch your back and to help you gain food. So when we feel over the last couple of decades, though, and it isn't just in the pandemic, because we've been becoming much more isolated even over the last 20 or 30 years. And with that, what we're seeing is not only a very high risk of mental illness with depression and anxiety, but increased risk of heart disease and early death. Greater, as you said, than cigarette smoking, but also greater than even obesity and substance abuse.
Wow. I mean, that's wild. So how can we then feel more involved or connected?
So one of the things that is really helpful for us to do is to just make an effort to be in the same room as people. And if that's a little bit too much, then you can start with just making a phone call, checking in, making some effort to be out and about. One of the things that can be difficult, though, is that when you've been alone for a while, your body becomes adjusted to it, and the ideas of being around other people can make you nervous, and it can make you feel more on high alert because you're having to watch out for yourself all the time. And if you're feeling a little depressed because you've been alone for so long, then you may not feel like people want to be around you. So to remind yourself that you have worth and that being around people that feeling of loneliness is a cue like hunger or thirst. And even if it's a small thing, saying hi, checking in on someone else, see how they're doing. Doing a little small act of kindness for someone else can brighten their day, but it does an awful lot for the person doing the act of kindness as well.
Yes, we've heard that a lot. Yeah. You know, it makes you feel really good when you help others. Talk about technology.
Yes.
You know, how does that play a part in all of this? Social media, being on our phones constantly, like video games, all of that.
So like everything, technology is a tool, and it can be a useful tool, because if you use it to reach out and call people or to text and to have conversations with them, then it can be useful. But social media is actually a big player and part of the problem, because there are studies that have shown that people who spend more than 2 hours a day on social media actually are twice as likely to report feelings of social isolation and loneliness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so then if we start to notice that our child is becoming, you know, less wanting to do social activities, a little more subdued or not as connected, first stop is talking to the pediatrician?
It's always a good idea to talk to their doctor about if this is a more serious problem, is there something else that needs to be done, if they need to reach out to more specialists. So if you have concerns that it's more than just a little bit out of practice with being around people, then yes, reaching out to someone is always a good idea.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Horton, for being here today. We appreciate your advice as always, and we'll see you next month.
All right, thank you, Stacia.